Welcome to our lovely future humans and those who are 5D collective, 5D and beyond, Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness. I get to be the mystic, mindful mindset mentor, content creator, podcast host who lets you know 3 things about a simple step-by-step roadmap to your best life. So the first, it begins with you. As Dr. Daniel Siegel has presented in one of the most recent newsletters I got, attachment is not just a label. So I know that when I meet serious human beings, they don't just trend. So they know their attachment category, and then they know step 2, how to use their nervous system. And this is very important because this one is the top of the 2 that is going to actually allow you to build the best life and healthy longevity. So I laugh because there's a bunch of people who don't understand this and they don't even bother to continue doing what they're doing, but go get themselves to regulate in their ventral vagal state and above all to anchor it in. They say, we don't want equanimity. Why are they caging us up in the words anxiety, depression? Nobody cages anyone up. They're just words. So 2, do you wield your nervous system so that you can always be on, which means that you can, 1, the 3 signs, if you're an enlightened one or have met one or basically you want to, it's an integrated brain that I'm talking about. But number 1, compassion through all of your pores towards every single bit of everyone, and you know there's no monsters anywhere. That suffering exists because we have a lot of people who don't know the simple step-by-step roadmap to their best life begins with them again, and that they're serious about it versus just trending, which means they participate to all the mindful mindset stuff, or to all our mystic stuff. I see them as they grow groups like the flat earthers and they become cheerleaders of each other. They don't actually move anywhere near their nervous system and they continue to sound like Cusco, what's up with your hypocrisy, which we're going to talk about next or at some point in the day. So a simple step-by-step roadmap. We're not done. We're at 2, okay? So I'm just trying to help you avoid the mistakes and wasting your time with any of those who are selling you, whether it's $10, $1, or $1 million. I mean, people pay a very not healthy human being millions, no, thousands probably, to get talked at like they're bitches. I would be completely wishing to be a 10-foot woman so that as soon as that took place, I would do something that I will not say is the right thing to do because it's not. It would teach nothing more than the same mediocre, ignorant behavior of a lot of more people. But still, when someone actually doesn't even realize that they think that they're better than me, enlightened, and then they're actually just grandiose, which means they're very tiny, puny inside. And that's why God chimes in to remind me to follow Jesus, who I did promise I would love and forgive. So forgive. 2 signs, you're enlightened or you've met one. We know that we will not be irritated with those who are different than us because I'm in my body. I would never want to be in that body. And the soul is the same for all. So really they're the same spec. They're just in a body that they didn't take care of, which is why their 3 steps to anything is bullshit. So the people who buy into it, they're wasting their money, but they're better. No, they're happier to have fancy suits, dress up, use fancy words, pat each other on the back and say they know everything and that they're dismantling a bunch of smart researchers, the modern day therapists, like the ones who want to still talk about energy vampires, entities, and they disregard that Patrick McNamara continues to study brains. So people who don't like tangible results, they like to bullshit themselves. And then they go complaining around about gurus and cults and they like to try to poke things. It's like, okay, if you're smart, you know the difference. In fact, if you're smart, you don't fall for the cult leader at all because you're like, something's off here because your gut will tell you because we're all embodied brains. That's because I know how to navigate my nervous system. So when you have IHP, I build flexible toolkits that hold the toolbox of skills from science, the mental health, attachment, trauma, all of it. And I fuck it up sometimes, but I know the basics. Spiritual, yes, we're all spirit when we're love, because that's pretty straightforward. You're a 3-year-old that's whole, not broken. Humanity's not broken. No one's fucked up. If someone is broken, they can be fixed so that they can become the real self. That's why then they'll be like, I'm changed. I'm a whole new person. Because they stopped actually living from this thing called shame defectiveness and this bullshit stuff down here that some people think they don't have, when instead they may have a fancy suit, but when they speak these words, if you look away, the confidence of mine will be eroded. Wow, yeah, no, you can look away all you want. I'll be like, wow, that, you know what? Maybe they don't like that I like hugging. Maybe it's because I talk a lot. maybe maybe it's a ventral energy. Maybe it has nothing to do with me. Yeah, you know what? So when you're serious, you know what trends are. They're a bunch of bullshitters who don't know how to stand in their equanimous, discerning, loving stance. Thanks God. That's what God is to me. You can read the chapter. It tells you a little bit about me in the book I'm a co-author of. The Ways to God. It's always through the heart. Open hearts feel sad, mad, and afraid, and they say, yeah, I'm a human. I'm not made of, superpowers, but I am a mystic. So actually, it's not superpowers, though. We don't dishonor our ancestors. We actually honor them. And the sciences people are learning how we're all connected through energy. So step 1 and 2, know yourself. You're securely attached, or your attachment category. It's not just a label. So you work with someone to get earned secure attachment, because that's the only way you're going to own your sense of self. Otherwise, you're going to pretend, like a lot of other hypocrites who just trend with words. 2, you know how to wield your nervous system. I know in my nervous system, in a panic attack, I'm just going to have to wait 15 minutes. So I'm really good at self-regulating in my ventral vagal state, and I anchor in always, because why would I not want to be in my stresses? Like I still remember when I used to vent and I said, I want to stop venting. It was poisonous. No, you can't. You're human. I can, because I'm human. It's called mindset. So the only ones who don't have the willpower or the motivation, no, the ones who aren't going to be able to use willpower, motivation, they need Dr. Amy Pegan, not me. That's a doctor who's a therapist and who has a bunch of other therapists. So when they're serious, like with my back, I got serious because my mom was serious, because I don't want to, break down and over. So I take care of it with the smart experts. So people who know what they want in life, they're the ones who are going to be back at HP 1, because a better life means you want it, not you're just playing with words, and the best life, really. And I thought about it, best, better, really, but I have to play a little bit with words just to have fun. Also, again, your best life is achieved within yourself. That's number 1. Like, there's no shadow of a doubt. Who do you wake up with in the morning, besides if there's somebody in the bed with you? Who? Great, your thoughts, and that's your 2-year-old and beyond. So automatic, and your body is first. But if you're wielding your body, you own the sense of self, there you go. So the 3 things, okay? So we said you own yourself, you are yourself, your child parts are asleep, you can regulate your nervous system. Number 2, mindset is everything, because you can do it, like the choo-choo train, because you actually know how to wield the nervous system. So even if you're still working, because you got earned secure attachment, you still know exactly what to do. I have 5 mindful practices that work with me, because you have a window welcome to your emotional stuff, not a window tolerance. You don't go offline. You took care of the big, most important part, your nervous system and your embodied brain. So people who don't, what I've began to understand is fragmented states of self. Yeah, this is going to be fascinating, as I will be presenting in time when we have our lovely private groups and workshops and retreats, because it's a work in progress. In the meantime, though, a simple step-by-step roadmap to your best life. It begins with you, and if you are serious, if you're trending, you won't be back. Because people who trend don't want to actually do the work. Like Patrick Tian points out to his crew, cowards don't want to come to therapy, but they want love. Yeah, we love all people here, because we're not needing Patrick Tian, but we definitely know the difference between those who are lazy and just use their mouths to then shit on each other, and nobody has the perfect model to anything. Because if you do get to what I just told you, owning your sense of self, secure attached nervous system, that's why you're non-traumatized. Now you're on a sweet roll. Use stress, longevity. Earned secure attachment for some, others we didn't lose it, self-led. And then 3, there you go, mindset. It's everything, because you being yourself is everything. And then you get it's not being poked, you get tickled, because that's how it works when you are, in my case at least, saying yes to Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, and all your brothers and sisters are little angels. They can all do it if they want. They don't have to. So we watch from afar where Pinocchios grow ears, and Peter Pans follow Wendy's, and then we get to make fun of them. And again, it isn't that I don't want to help, is that they continue to just trend and to be magical beings. And while I do know with clairs, which are also spiritual gifts, so saints, prophets, expert yogis, gurus, you put it all in. We're not disrespecting. I am of the spirit group. I'm also grounded in reality group, though. So science hasn't disproven all of our stories. They give explanations to things. And then I know what quantitative data is, which is why I know with crystals and Reiki and Akashic record readings. So there's a spiritual toolkit Maria has. In fact, I set up our playlist, by the way. So we have Reiki, spiritual personal growth, for those of you who want the universal love transmission sessions, and I added it to the podcast area on YouTube. They are also on the Spotify podcast, but for now, let me continue with that one. And 2, well, we have 3, which is This is the Main, IHP podcast, all the videos. Then we got the Reiki, and then we have 3, those samples, which I'll probably add to for the anger is what we're working on as exercise. Then we had readings, and we also had some spotlights. So I'm going to add to that a little bit more throughout the year. And we have our patron membership piece of content for those of you who do daily routines or monthly routines. More to be continued. I'm going to leave now. I'm just going to remind you once again, the easy step-by-step and or the simple. Simple means you know yourself, because if you don't own your personality patterns or temperament, then, as Dr. Daniel Siegel also presented in a number of courses, but this one was where we were talking about the PDB framework, because I got to take the test, I know mine, and then I also integrate it with the mindful mindset practices by being able to say, okay, so as long as you are your whole self, this means you always work with all the temperament and your personality patterns. The people who go offline disregard that they don't have to anymore, because there's plenty of smart therapists that can help them, but they don't want to go. And that's actually something called they object. And the Janina Fisher, Bessel van der Kolk, all of them say you can't talk sense to people. So yes, if a friend wants to marry the wrong person, you'll probably have known. If a person needs a therapist and they don't want it, they will probably say, no, I don't. And they'll, oh, look, all my experts right here, see? Oh, look, I'm part of this group. Look, I got a certificate for it. You know, that's awesome. You're living the best life ever. So God is good, because all of his children will have one of 2 choices. You can become kind, or you can say basically a hypocrite, because the unkind, I'm not going to say they're like half safe. For us, they're not half safe. They're just people who are Cuscos, who like to lie. So we will talk about it more again, and we'll be having new playlists in addition to the ones that I just mentioned, because I'm planning a toolkit, and there's going to be different varieties, the free sample, and then on Patreon or elsewhere. I'm still figuring that part out. I love content creation and I love being on YouTube and elsewhere. TikTok, remember, because we have lives on TikTok and YouTube, and I also am Patreon. I need to still share that one. Spotify for podcasters. You can, the link below for paid subscribers. So just stay tuned and share with people who are serious about getting that best life going. Again, it's very easy if you have the foundation. And so anytime there's a tower moment, we are still expanding. Remember that 8th and 9th chakra, that's what we're going to have for patron members. So those are people who visualize and understand their energy centers, and you don't have to believe in it, by the way, but I'll share more once it's done. What I was trying to get to is, as you are actively participating, your foundation, tower moments, you have fun with it, and you're not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. You're not afraid because you own all your child parts, you wield your nervous system, so your sense of self is owned. You don't need to be talked sense to, because you're always looking at all of the people around you, because you live a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. True to spirituality life, even if you're not it, meaning even if you're not in spirituality life, but that's okay. Because again, atheists, scientists who are smart, they all know this stuff. Even if I say it wrong, they'll still, yep, the smart ones, because they have their best interest in heart and societies. So they're going to want a strong foundation. Peace and happiness are rooted neither in the marketplace nor in the forest, but within. Thank you, Sadhguru. So once you have integration of the brain, restored, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating life, you have fun with who you are, and then you bring it to everyone else, and we have a fun time together without doing this, as we don't need it. But we'll be back with more. Have a good one.